All right, so we're diving headfirst into this coding a crypto from scratch thing you dug up.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild ride, actually.
Definitely looks like it. Tons about tokens, which we've been meaning to really unpack.
Yeah, and people throw coins and tokens around kind of casually, but they're not the same.
Right. Got to get that straight first.
Yeah.
So, what's the deal there?
So picture it like this. A coin, that's like Bitcoin, right? It's the king of its own castle, has its whole blockchain thing going on, independent and all that.
Makes sense.
But tokens, they're more like, imagine a bustling city inside that kingdom. They're built on existing blockchains like Ethereum.
Ah, so Bitcoin's doing its own thing while Ethereum's got this whole party going on, and everyone's bringing their tokens to the party.
Exactly. And this chapter, it's like the ultimate guide to throwing the most epic token party on Ethereum.
Sounds like my kind of party.
Right. Even shows how to build one from scratch using something called the Truffle framework.
Truffle framework. Okay, now I'm just imagining chefs with those tall hats and those tiny forks.
Huh. Not quite a fancy dinner, but it's kind of a recipe, in a way. It's a set of tools, see? It makes this whole ERC20 compliant token thing on Ethereum way easier.
ERC what now? Okay, you lost me a little bit.
Think of it like, imagine you're setting up a bunch of rules, so your token can hang out with all the other tokens and stuff on Ethereum without any problems, like everyone's speaking the same language.
So no awkward silences at this party, everyone's fluent in ERC20. I like it. But what about this asset pipelining thing? It sounds intense.
It's more about staying organized when things get wild, Like, imagine building a house. You wouldn't just dump all the wood and bricks in one giant pile, right?
Chaos.
Total chaos. This asset pipelining in Truffle, it's like having blueprints for your code. Keeps things efficient, less room for errors.
So are we talking like a well-organized skyscraper of code versus a messy Jenga tower about to fall over?
Exactly. And that's super important when you're messing with something as valuable as cryptocurrency. Can't have it all come crashing down.
Speaking of valuable, this reminds me of something. My friend Ajay, the real estate guy, he was like the king of something called arbitrage, even back in high school.
Arbitrage, huh? Basically, it's just spotting where something's priced differently in two places and taking advantage of that difference.
Exactly. He'd buy snacks from one store and sell them at a markup at school. Brilliant.
Yeah.
But how does that work with crypto?
Well, since you've got all these different crypto exchanges, right? Sometimes, just sometimes, the price of, say, Bitcoin, it'll be a tiny bit different on one exchange versus another.
That's interesting.
And that tiny difference, that's where arbitrage happens. Buy low on one, sell high on the other, boom, you've got profit.
So people are out there glued to their screens, making money off these tiny price differences.
Oh, absolutely. It's like high-speed trading, but with crypto. High risk, high reward.
Makes you wonder who was doing this before computers, right? How they even spot those opportunities.
Right. Must have been a totally different game back then.
Speaking of a different game, this whole idea of making money from these new crypto projects, it's what makes those ICOs so fascinating. And risky.
Oh, for sure. And the funny thing is, back in 2013 at this Bitcoin conference, people basically laughed off the whole ICO idea.
No way. Really. But it makes sense. Thinking back then, raising money directly from people must have seemed crazy.
Totally. But then, Ethereum changed the game.
So what happened? How did we go from laughingstock to everyone and their grandma talking about ICOs?
Ethereum, my friend. Well, it wasn't the first platform for ICOs, but man, it got popular fast. Developers loved it.
Yeah, makes sense. Way back then, I remember trying to wrap my head around it all.
It was a game changer, that's for sure. Suddenly, anyone with a decent idea, some coding skills, they could launch their own token. Raise money directly from anyone who'd buy in.
Wild. Talk about cutting out the middleman. No more begging for loans or trying to impress those VC guys.
Exactly. But, of course, there's always a catch.
Right, because if something sounds too good to be true.
It probably is. And that's where those scam ICOs come in. You had legitimate projects, sure, like Ethereum itself, Augur.
Right.
But then, bam, floodgates open.
So all these shady characters see an opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Ponzi schemes galore, dressed up as the next Bitcoin. People lost their shirts.
Ouch. Okay, so how do you tell the difference? If I'm thinking about investing in an ICO, what should I look out for? Red flags.
Big time. First off, look at the token itself. What's it actually used for?
Right.
If it's just buy this and it'll be worth more later, that's suspicious, right? A good token. It has a purpose within the project, within that ecosystem.
Okay, makes sense. What else?
Transparency, my friend. Look at the team. Who are these people? What's their track record? How are they planning to spend the money?
Right. If they're being all secretive, That's not a good sign.
Huge red flag. And then there's the Ponzi scheme thing.
Which, like, let's be real, that's what a lot of those early ICO scams were, right? Just pyramid schemes with a new coat of paint.
Exactly. They rely on constantly pulling in new money to pay off the old investors. No real product, no long-term plan, just that unsustainable promise of get rich quick.
And it usually ends badly.
Mm-hmm.
So, bottom line with ICOs.
Do your homework, be skeptical, and never, ever invest more than you can afford to lose.
Words to live by. Okay, so zooming out a bit. We've talked tokens, we've talked building on Ethereum.
Yeah.
But what about the big picture? Like, if everyday life, right? Will we ever be buying coffee with Bitcoin? Is that the future?
That's the million-dollar question. This chapter touched on Crypterium, remember that?
Vaguely. The Estonian thing.
Yeah, it's like their whole plan to bridge the gap between like normal money dollars, euros, and the crypto world.
Because right now, it's not exactly easy to pay for groceries with Bitcoin. Trust me, I've tried.
Right. So Crypterium, they're building this decentralized application, a dApp. Basically an app, but powered by the blockchain. And the goal is you can use it to pay with crypto anywhere, just like with a credit card.
No way. Wait, seriously. So I could buy a coffee with Ethereum, and the coffee shop owner, they could get euros instantly if they wanted.
That's the dream. It would make using crypto so much more practical, for actual everyday transactions. Plus, since it's on Ethereum, you've got all those smart contract possibilities. Micropayments, escrow services, you name it.
Okay, I have to admit, that does sound incredibly cool. But is that even doable on a big scale?
There's the rub. Scalability is the challenge with crypto right now. Like, can Ethereum, can any blockchain handle it if everyone suddenly starts buying their lattes with it? And then there's the whole government regulation side of things.
Because governments are still trying to figure out what crypto even is, let alone how to regulate it.
Exactly. But here's the thing, Estonia. They're actually way ahead of the curve on this. They get it. They see the potential. So they're setting up shop, making it friendly for blockchain businesses.
Wow, so it's like we're watching a whole new financial system being built right before our eyes. Will it succeed? Will it crash and burn?
Who knows? That's what makes it so exciting.
And terrifying.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we were talking about secure code earlier. What was that about the Parity hack?
Oh man, the Parity hack part 2. It's a classic case of just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
Wait, there's a sequel. I thought they fixed it.
They tried, but their fix, it accidentally introduced a whole new vulnerability.
Oh, this is like the software developer's worst nightmare, right?
Pretty much. And this time, it gets worse. It wasn't some super hacker or anything. It was a rookie developer, brand new. And they accidentally triggered a self-destruct function in the code.
Self-destruct. Okay, hold on. That sounds kind of extreme.
It was brutal. This function, it basically deleted the entire library contract that was holding the keys to millions, and I mean millions of dollars worth of Ether.
No way. All gone. Just like that.
Poof. Gone. Vaporized. A stark reminder that in the blockchain world, mistakes have consequences. Big ones.
Yeah, that's a lot to process. So where does that leave us? I mean, is this whole crypto thing, is it the future or what?
Million-dollar question, right? Nobody really knows. But think about it. This isn't just about code, is it?
Right. It's bigger than that.
Way bigger. This blockchain thing, this crypto, it could change everything. How we think about money, how we do business. Maybe even how we, govern ourselves.
It's like back in the day when the internet was brand new. Nobody knew exactly what was going to happen, but you could feel it.
Right.
So something huge was on the horizon.
Exactly. And just like the internet, there'll be winners and losers along the way. Crazy innovation, probably some spectacular crashes too.
The dot-com bubble 2.0. But with, like, Bitcoin instead of pets.com.
Something like that. But the point is, this tech, this underlying blockchain thing, it's here to stay. It's up to us to figure out what to do with it.
So pay attention, learn as much as you can, but don't bet the farm on any one thing. And maybe, just maybe, try not to accidentally delete your life savings with a bad line of code.
Exactly. Though, hey, if you do have a knack for spotting those arbitrage opportunities,
start practicing. Hit up 2 grocery stores instead of 1.
There you go.
All right, everybody, that's it for our deep dive today. We covered a ton. Hopefully your brains aren't totally fried.
Hey, if it were easy, everyone would be doing it.
True that. Big thanks to you, as always, for breaking it all down. And to everyone listening, stay curious, keep learning, and we'll catch you next time.